For our coaches and athletes, last 5 minutes here of the warm-up session. Clear the pool at 50 minutes after the hour. And beat starts at 5 o'clock. Also, coaches, at 5 o'clock, your scratches are due for our Thursday sessions. 5 o'clock scratch deadline time for our Thursday sessions. Fans, make sure to pick up your official championship t-shirt at the merchandise stand located on the first floor of the Recreation Center. And we'd like to thank our corporate partners, the American Athletic Conference. We'd like to thank Gatorade for their support of the American Athletic Conference men's and women's swimming and diving championships. And you can find out more information about our swimming and diving teams on Twitter. You can follow at American_swim on Twitter for all the latest updates. And again, that's at American_swim on Twitter. And you can follow all the action this weekend on Instagram. See some of the great photos from the conference. Just search for at American_conference, CONF, with your Instagram at American_CONF. here in the competition pool of the warm-up session. And last couple of minutes here in the warm-up session for the pool at 15 minutes after the hour. Each scheduled to start at the top of the hour at 5 p.m. Also, coaches at 5 o'clock, your relay, or your scratches for Thursday are due. Thursday scratches are due by 5 o'clock tonight. Coaches and athletes, current time is 4:50. Competition pool is now closed for warm-ups. And the competition pool is now closed for warm-ups. Current time is 4:50. For our coaches, 10 more minutes before the scratch deadline comes and goes. Fans, don't forget the American.org/swim-dive is where you can find all kinds of information, including highlights, interviews, recaps, live stats, photo galleries, and more. This week's championship competition live coverage is provided at the American.org/swim-dive. And if you're looking for heat sheets for tonight, Those are available each day at theamerican.org/programs. We do have one housekeeping reminder for our spectators. Now would be a good time to double check your cameras and recording devices and turn that flash option off. Flash photography is prohibited at the start of our events. Well, if you could, just take a moment right now and double check that camera and recording device and make sure that the flash option has been turned off.
Some of the top swimmers and divers from around America converge today in Dallas, Texas for our week-long championships in the pool, including last year's champs, the Cougars of Houston. As we welcome you to the campus of SMU, your host this week, and their brand new home, the Robson and Lindley Aquatic Center. We welcome you inside, poolside. Lincoln Rose, along with former Arkansas Razorback Kristen Keith. Kristen, we saw those targets on the back of Houston. They're looking to defend their titles. Of course, on the men's side, the Pirates of ECU, despite a promoted brand new head coach, looking to win 4 straight years. A lot of optimism in general for all the programs meeting in Dallas this week. That's right, and Houston has a good reason for having the target on their back. They actually won their first conference championship last season. They returned 3 individual champions. We'll see them today. On the men's side, ECU, they're the guys with the target on their back as they're looking for their 4th straight, as you mentioned, under new first-year head coach Matt Jabs. Let's see what we're going to take a look at today. Yeah, this is the first of 4 days. We take a look at our schedule that we'll have right here on American Digital Network. We begin in the pool with the women for the 800-yard freestyle relay. The men will follow with the 800-yard freestyle relay as well. Then over to the diving boards. Today, it's the 1 meter for the men, the 3 meter for the women. We'll see the reverse later on this week, and then we'll cap it off tonight, 200-yard medley relay for the women and men. But when we return here on the American Digital Network, it's the women in the pool, 800-yard freestyle relay with championship on the line.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Power comes in all forms. Power is a big tackle,
a big save,
a clutch hit,
and a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials, student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions
while at the game.
The American.
Power.
Power. Power.
Power for life.
We welcome you inside the Robson and Lindley Aquatic Center in the Bar McMillan Natatorium. It is the first year that it has served as the brand new home of SMU swimming and diving for the men and women. And for the next 4 days here in the American Athletic Conference, it will serve as the championship site for all 6 women's programs, all 4 men's programs here in this conference. Again, Lincoln Rose, Kristen Keith back with you here on the American Digital Network. And Kristen, you've experienced it. When conference championships are around the corner, we've seen countdowns on social media for all these programs. They're excited finally get back in the pool. It all counts for titles starting today.
That's right, Lincoln. This is the day that you look forward to as an athlete. You prepare for this in the off-season. You start your training. Everything gets taken off to lead up to having the best performance in conference championships. This is everybody's goal. Everybody wants to be champion. As you can see here, Houston women, they've got targets on their back. The ECU men, they've got targets on their back. Their teams to beat is this team.
Tulane will have Michelle Zelnick, the junior. And SMU will begin with Audrey Sanchez, the senior. One of two seniors that will get the Mustangs off here in their home pool. For UConn, Emma Smith, a senior in her own right. The elder statesman will lead things off here for UConn with a sophomore and a pair of juniors to follow.
Houston. In lane 5, this next rival in 2015, ECU. In lane 6, Tulane. And in lane 7, UConn. With 800-yard freestyle relay.
And just taking in this fantastic venue. You saw a lot of the student athletes and some of their staff when they made their way inside. Just taking it in, had so many questions. But SMU has really outdone themselves, and excited for you to join us here on the American Digital Network for the next 4 days. About to get underway with our first event here on day number 1. Again, Houston is in lane 4, ECU in lane 5. That's Cincinnati in lane 3, Tulane in lane 6. At the top, SMU in lane 2, UConn in lane 7 here on the near side. And I have you flipped SMU here on the near side in lane 2.
That's right. That'll be, looks like that's Adrian Santa. She actually helped the team, this 800 relay team, win in 2006, leading off that team.
So right now in the lead, Leahy, the freshman for the Cougars.
She actually holds 2 state championships titles from high school, the 400 freestyle relay and the 100 free that Mackenzie Levy there in Iowa. 2 state titles that she holds the record for.
You see the numbers as they start to come in early on in the, again, 800-yard freestyle relay. And it's still Houston leading the pack. But as we noted, a newcomer, the freshman Leahy. Right now, that's Tulane in second. Up in lane 6 with Michelle Zelnick. And the rest of the pack battling for third. And a nice push right now for Zelnick, trying to help close that gap. Houston the first, Tulane second. Next in the pool for the Cougars, Ksenia Yakova. For Tulane, next in the pool, that's Morgan Tasic, the sophomore.
Yakova, a senior from Russia, made her way to Houston to swim for the Cougars.
And it's Yuskova, the senior, big part of the success last year. Starting to create that separation again. A nice push by Madeline Exton. Second in the pool, the freshman for Cincinnati there, and lane number 3. And she has caught up, closed the gap on number 2. But number 1 right now is still Houston, with Yuskova holding that lead. The rest of that pack really starting to tighten up. Ksenia Yuskova just trying to expand the lead for the next freshman in the pool for Houston, Samantha Medlin. As Kristen noted, Houston had the quad's best time this year, 9 seconds better than the rest of the field, and we are seeing that reflected in the pool right now. Again, the second freshman in this combo for Houston. Medellin in the pool right now. SMU has Casey Rose, a junior. Cincinnati has Sarah Lobbs. Bridget Burke for ECU. Tulane has Lena Hayakawa. And UConn right now, their third leg, Jacqueline Van Loo, the junior.
Houston really starting to separate itself right now. Pretty impressive when you have two freshmen on this relay team, Lincoln.
Trying to make that statement. You'll see them with those t-shirts. A couple years ago, finished last. Last year, they were your champions. Looking to do it despite all the attention this year. And right now, it's a battle for second. As ECU would be your front runner behind Houston. And for the Pirates again, Bridget Burke, the senior. 3 seniors already in the pool for ECU so far. They will be anchored by a sophomore in Chair Whistle. But the Cougars have arrived in Dallas looking to defend their title.
There goes Zarena Brown, the sophomore. She was all conference last year, the 500 free and 200 free and the free relay. She's going to try and take the Cougars home now.
Any advantage for ECU in second has since evaporated. That is UConn right now giving a push for second place, along with the Pirates. Final lap for the Cougars. Zarena Brown looking to bring it home with the final leg. Again, that lead began with a freshman in Leahy, followed by Yaskova and Medellin. And there's your difference. The Houston Cougars get things started in the pool here in 2018 the same way they left it a year ago.
That's a meet record, Lincoln. 7:06.86. They beat Louisville's record from 2014. They just shattered that.
Louisville set that mark the first year of the American in 2014. This was a race that Cincinnati took a year ago, even though Houston took the overall team title. New pool, new time in terms of a standard now in the American. And there was an eruption when that set in here along the deck. And I think they're just now sharing that information.
About a tenth of a second from NCAA automatic qualifying time. They've obviously hit the provisional, but really close to hitting that automatic time.
Well, the Cougars would establish the advantage by the time that Leahy, the freshman, got out of the pool. That was 2 freshmen, a sophomore and a senior for Houston. You talk about successful in the past and obviously a bright future ahead of them as well.
Two freshmen and a sophomore. You lose one senior on that relay team, Lincoln, but they're sitting pretty for the future.
And they have set a new standard that they will have a chance to try to topple in the years to come. Again, that's the first of 6 events today here on the American Digital Network. And there you see a shout out of her teammates and fans. UConn and Tulane, no, there are still more races to be held here over the next few days, including a medley that will cap off the night with. Next time we see the women in the pool, it'll be over the diving boards, but in a moment here, we'll be set for the men. That is a nice start for Houston. Go ahead and check that one off of the to-do list for the Cougars. We step aside here in Dallas. When we come back, the men are in the pool for the first time with the 800-yard freestyle relay.
Oh, that ball is hit deep, left field, way back. That ball is gone. Double play ball potentially. Schreitenthal over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
For our folks down here on deck, a request from the SMU staff, if you could please avoid walking across the bulkhead. We've had a couple of the plug-ins damaged, so if you could please avoid walking on the bulkhead.
Well, the men are up next, and soon enough we will see the awards for the women as we welcome you in here on the American Digital Network. Exact same race, but for the men this time, just 4 lanes will be occupied. Again, for the American, you have ECU, UConn, Cincinnati, and SMU, your host. ECU will be in lane number 3 here in a moment. UConn lane 4. Those Bearcats will have a chance to cheer on the men in lane 5 and SMU in lane 6. Tyler, let's go ahead and send you over to the awards podium, where a moment ago we saw the Houston Cougars set a new meet record.
All right, we'll now turn things over to our diving announcer, so if you can direct your attention down the dive well, we'll introduce our men's and women's divers for this evening.
Diving first, Tori Wagner, University of Connecticut. Diving second, Devin Nugent, East Carolina University. And third, Louis Hunt, University of Cincinnati. Diving fourth, Kyle Kennedy, University of Connecticut. Fifth, Isaac Karn, University of Cincinnati. Diving sixth, Daniel Kinney, University of Connecticut. Diving seventh, Mitchell Godard, University of Cincinnati. And our last diver, Bryce Klein, Southern Methodist University. Announcing the women's 3-meter finalists. Diving first, Michaela Bowder, University of Houston. Diving second, Lauren Earl, University of Houston. Diving third, Alicia Rouge, East Carolina University. Diving fourth, Claire Sherman, University of Cincinnati. Diving fifth, Aaron Clifford, University of Connecticut. Diving fifth, Taylor Holhauser, Southern Methodist University. Sorry, that was sixth. Diving seventh, Sarah Blank, East Carolina University. And our final diver, Kathleen Brown, Southern Methodist University. Good luck, divers.
Cougars home in that relay race right there. You not only set a conference meet record, but you broke your school record with a time of 7:06.86. What did it take from you guys?
We've just been working really hard all season. I know we've wanted to win a relay just because I don't think we won any in the past years, and so it was just kind of like a like a motivating factor because we never won any last year. So that was like always on our mind to win. And so, you know, the four of us always trained together. So we were just like, you know, we want that gold. We got to work hard. So.
You guys are the defending conference champions. You walked in here today with a target on the back of your T-shirts. How did that come about? Why do you guys feel like you have that target on your back?
Our coach started off the season and said, you know, we won last year, but that doesn't mean we're going to win this year. And, you know, now we have the target on the back to represent that, like, everybody's looking at us because we've gotten better nationally. And, you know, all the eyes are on us. So, like, we have the target of everybody trying to win the conference this year and knowing that they're coming after us. So the target represents that.
Zarina, congrats to you in that relay team. We'll see you in a little while. Lincoln?
All right, we will be hearing from the student athletes over the next 4 days. Great job checking in there with your first champions of the week in terms of in the 800 freestyle relay. And there's your newest celebrity in the Houston area. We'll see her back in the pool before the week is all said and done. Well, again, our next event here for the men will be the 800 freestyle relay as well. It will give the home crowd a chance to cheer on their Mustangs once again. SMU will be in lane 6. Jonathan Gomez, the senior, will lead things off for them. There you see for the Pirates, Maxim Kadia, as the junior will be the first in the pool. Next to him in lane 4, UConn's Joshua Robluski, a freshman. And Cincinnati will have Justin Crew over in lane 5.
Now, Lincoln, the Huskies are the team to watch in this event. They come in with several seconds faster than any other team in the 800.
Well, we mentioned just as Houston is back as your champion from a year ago overall, ECU has that honor for the past 3 years here in the American as your top all-around program. Last year, ECU won this specific event for a 3rd straight year. As we are just about set to go. And for the first time this week, the men are in the pool looking for a title here in the American. Again, that's ECU closest to us in lane 3, UConn in lane 4. Above them, Cincinnati in 5, SMU in lane 6. And at the moment, SMU by perhaps a hand, being led by Jonathan Gomez, the senior. ECU head coach Matthew Jobs, an assistant the last 3 years during those championship runs. With the promotion this year, looking to continue that form. And again, right now, it is the Mustangs followed by the Bearcats. Justin Crew swimming in 2nd, starting to push Gomez.
Gomez holds the school record for the Mustangs in the 500 free, the 200 fly, and the 400 IM. You can see why right here.
Just about neck and neck, stroke for stroke. And the next man in the pool for SMU, it's Lucas Schinke. For the Bearcats, Johannes Kabelka. UConn in the pool now with the sophomore Carl Bishop. ECU in the pool with their second leg, John Meyer. It is still SMU and Cincinnati putting on the show so far. Hans Kabelka starting to gain the advantage here in the second leg.
He's a three-time high school All-American in Ohio. Just a freshman.
Right now, UConn in third, ECU in fourth. Both Kabelka and Schinke entering the pool at about the same time. Schinke starting to make a push. But Kabelka to the wall first, and that means Selmanovic. Dean Selmanovic, the sophomore. As Matthew Nutter, a freshman in for SMU. Andre Kuhn, a sophomore for UConn. Grega Popovich, the sophomore for ECU. Louisville still holds the meet record at 6:19.25 back in that first year of 2014. We mentioned the Pirates have won this the last 3 years. But only Popovich returns. I say that Popovich and Meyer back from last year's championship team. Selmanovic right now looks very comfortable carrying the baton for Cincinnati. You see his cheering section as he starts to gain ground. And time for the anchor. Tobias Van Dyke. For SMU in the pool, that's Carson Klein. We'll see his brother Bryce on the diving boards later on. ECU has Blas Demsar. UConn with William Kersey. But it is starting to look like this is the Bearcats race.
Toby Van Dyke of Cincinnati is going to bring it home probably for the Bearcats. He's just a freshman. A state runner-up in the 200 freestyle in Pennsylvania. Comes from State College, Pennsylvania.
As Christian just mentioned, you're looking at a freshman looking to close it out for the Bearcats. Still holding on to second, Carson Klein, the Mustang anchor. It's about to get a lot louder. First to the wall. Cincinnati will take the 800 freestyle relay. Not quite. Oh, about 2.5 seconds better. And SMU in second. As followed by UConn, and your three-time champ Pirates will wrap it up in fourth. And the Bearcats all of a sudden wonder if this is a sign of things to come this week here in Dallas.
Well, the Bearcats came into this relay at 6:36, Lincoln, and they just hit a 6:27.
It's amazing what strong competition in the pool can do, elevating everybody's game.
This is the meet to do it at.
So we saw Houston take the 800 freestyle relay on the women's side. Bearcats first out of the pool in the men's race. We'll note NCAA provisional is a 6:25.06. The automatic would have been a 6:21.54. Bearcats had the second best 800 time this year among American teams. Able to come through as they'll be on top of the podium soon enough. It's a Bearcats team that finished third last year. Both the men and women last year finished third. But we noted a lot of optimism for all these programs, and you see it sinking in. That's not just the chlorine. The emotions early on after so much build-up here to this opening day. For the Mustangs, looking to defend their backyard in their brand new pool. I know various publications would be show very little surprise that the Bearcats are off to a good start. Coming into this week, Cincinnati, many had picked to be your favorite. Cincinnati's women look to finish in the top half based on some expectations. But this is a Bearcats group of swimmers who have a lot of the top times in individual races, and that will be tested here today, as well as the next few days here in Dallas. We'll step aside when we come back. Cincinnati will be celebrated as your champions in the 800. Kristen will have a chance to catch up with the Bearcats, and we'll see the women get things started on the diving boards here in Dallas.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power Six conference known as the American.
Power comes in all forms. Power is a big tackle,
A big save.
A clutch hit.
And a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials, student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments.
Profanities or other improper actions.
While at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
Fourth place, ECU, at a time of 6:33.10. And now receiving your medals, your top 3 finishers. Your bronze medalist with a finals time of 6:32.16, UConn. Your silver medalist with a finals time of 6:29.71, SMU. And your gold medalist in the men's 800-yard freestyle relay. Their finals time, 6:27.32. Justin Crew, Johannes Kabelka, Din Silmanovic, and Tobias Van Dyke, Cincinnati.
And once again, congratulations to the Bearcats as the men captured their first title here in 2018. After it had been the Pirates atop that podium for the past 3 years, it is time for the Bearcats to reign in a strong showing here today from start to finish, all 4 legs of that relay coming through. Soon enough, Kristen will have a chance to talk to those Bearcats. We remind you our next event will be the women over on the diving boards. Let me correct myself, it'll be the men with the 1 meter, followed by the women on the 3 meter diving. 6 events in total today. We'll have the 200-yard medley to cap it off. As you see again, just some of the women warming up. Never too focused to not be aware of where the cameras are.
Diving first, Tori Wagner, 105 feet, 2.6.
And we are going to lead things off here for the men's 1 meter diving with Tori Wagner, a freshman for UConn. Young man out of Tallahassee, Florida.
Awards. Four, 4.5, 4.5. Devin, 105 feet, 2.6.
You see Devin Nugent, a freshman as well out of ECU, going second in this rotation. Another Floridian out of Fort Lauderdale.
Awards. 5.5, 6 across.
You see the scores. Ultimately, you average all but the top and the bottom.
Louis, 51.34 D, 2.6.
Louis Hunt's a junior from Cincinnati out of Lakeside Park, Kentucky. Last year finished second in the 3 meter diving. That'll be later on this week.
Awards. 6, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 6.5.
Fourth in our rotation will be Kyle Kennedy, the sophomore from UConn. Grew up in Massachusetts. Head diving coach for the Huskies, John Bransfield. As the Huskies will have 3 of the 8 divers we see. You already saw Tori Wagner. And a couple dives from now, we'll see Daniel Kinney.
Just over on his takeoff, but looked clean coming in the water, so.
Kristen, he had to wait that extra moment for the judges on the previous dive. What goes through your mind when all of a sudden perhaps you're having to wait the extra split second?
It can be a little nerve-wracking up there, you know, when you're waiting. You get yourself ready for that moment to start, and then they hold you off. It can be a little nerve-wracking, but these guys are used to it.
Second of 3 Cincinnati divers will see Isaac Karn.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Nice work by the Ohio native.
A little over on the entry. Not quite vertical.
Takes us to the final Husky, Daniel Kinney, 6th in this rotation out of Middletown, Connecticut. Last year finished 3rd in this, the 1 meter dive. Each diver will have 6 dives. You see right now, we are in round 1 of 6. 2 more divers to go. Mitchell Goddard, the Bearcat senior out of Cleves, Ohio. Started his career over at Wright State before transferring. He's posted the best score this year among American schools in both the 1 meter and the platform.
You could see why. Quick rotation, just not a quite clean entry. I'm sure he'll clean that up the next time.
And that brings us to our man who is last in the rotation, Bryce Klein, the senior here in front of the home crowd. Grew up here in the Dallas area, up at South Lake at Carroll High School, the former Dragon.
He's the man to beat, Lincoln. This is the guy right here. 2-time champion. Won the 1 and 3 meter last season.
He holds both the SMU school as well as the conference record in the American for the 1 meter.
Clean dive.
That conference mark at 400.55.
The entry was a little messy there. As you see the splash, he went over just a little bit, but his rotation there, beautiful.
So it's time for round 2 as we make our way through the 8 divers once again. And it's back to the Husky, the freshman, Tori Wagner.
You see his feet come apart at the end. That'll cost you there.
Devin, 203B, 2.3.
Another freshman again, second in the rotation now, Devin Nugent. His dive for round 2. The Pirate with some 5.5 straight across.
Came out just a little early. As you saw, he had to arch his back a little more for the entry there, Lincoln, but still a pretty dive, but 5.5s across.
Back to Louis Hunt.
Lincoln, you asked me if I got anxious or nervous when they made me wait like that. To be honest with you, they're moving quite fast. I'd be a little more anxious because of the pace there. It's like, hurry up and go.
They've got dinner reservations somewhere over in Fort Worth. Kyle Kennedy, again, the sophomore from UConn.
first inward of the day. His throw was a little late on the takeoff there, and that's why you saw him have a little bit of trouble getting around. Rotation was a little slow.
Again, Isaac Karn right in front of his cheering section. The sophomore Bearcat.
Really good takeoff there. You see the height, you see the speed. The entry was a little messy. Feet were a little apart, needs to point his toes, but all in all, a solid dive.
And back to Daniel Kenny for his second dive.
Mitchell, 205C, 3.0.
Curtly Krumholtz, the diving coach, looks on as Cincinnati senior Goddard
Ooh, way over.
on his second dive.
Such an aggressive takeoff. You see that rotation, how fast it is. He just didn't come out and kick out hard enough. Just a little too late.
Bryce, 205C.
And again, Bryce Klein will wrap up round two. SMU's diving coach is Darian Schmidt.
Now Bryce Klein holds the meet record, the conference meet record in this event. 455.
We saw his younger brother Carson swim as the anchor for SMU in the 800 earlier.
Clean entry.
Awards. 6.5, 7, 6.5, 7, 7.
You'll see he slightly turned in his rotation here. See how he slightly turned? But watch how pretty this entry is. That's what it's about. When the judges are from the side and they're looking at that angle, it's all about how you enter the water.
And from the senior for SMU, back to the freshman for UConn, Wagner.
That was pretty.
As he gets round number 3 started.
6, 6, 5.5, 6, 6. Devin, 303C, 2.1.
Devin Nugent completes his third dive. Everybody right now following Bryce Klein, your leader.
Louis, 405C, 3.1.
Inward 2.5. This is the hardest degree of difficulty that we've seen today. Wow.
Awards.
Solid dive. A little late on the entry, but very pretty.
3B, 2.3.
So from Louis Hunt now to Kyle Kennedy.
Awards. 4, 4, 3.5, 4, 3.5.
Third dive for Isaac Karn, the sophomore from Cincinnati. You see his combined scores so far. As he completes his back 1.5 somersaults pike.
Great entry.
6, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 6. Daniel, 305C, 3.0.
Slide over rotation for the Yukon senior.
You see the low scores, Lincoln. That's a hard dive. The degree of difficulty at 3.0, that's a hard dive. You've got to be able to get that pretty well. Otherwise, you know, it's one of those things where you have to decide as a diver, do I want to go for this 2.5 or should I cut back and do a reverse 1.5 pike? Oh, that was beautiful. You know, the skill level is there. It's can you do the dive? He's got it. He can do it. Can you do it clean? That's the hard part.
And again, good-looking scores across the way from the judges.
That might be the best dive I think we've seen all day.
Bryce Klein looking to reclaim the driver's seat here.
Another solid dive from Klein. He's very consistent. You see, that's why he's the leader.
And that will keep Isaac Karn, our 5th diver, in 2nd place as Bryce Klein continues to live up to his own standard and remains your leader through 3 rounds. Back to Tori Wagner to kick off round number 4. As we are now halfway through the men's 1-meter diving.
Wow, that was beautiful. Low degree of difficulty, but extremely clean, very well executed.
The judges certainly agree.
Devin, 403B, 2.4.
Back to Devin Nugent, the freshman from ECU. Of course, his Pirates are looking for their 4th straight title.
Awards.
Really pretty.
6, 6.5, 6.5, 6, 6.
Clean entry. Toes could have been pointed a little more on the takeoff, but.
And back to the Kentucky native. Doesn't have far to go to attend courses at Cincinnati. As the 4th dive for Louis Hunt.
Awards. Just 3. 5.5, 5, 5, 5.5, 5.5. Kyle, 303B, 2.4.
As Kyle Kennedy, again, one of 3 Huskies qualifying for this evening's final.
Isaac, 305C, 3.0.
Isaac Karn, similarly, one of 3 Bearcats.
That was a nice dive. Again, a very difficult dive, 3.0 degree of difficulty.
He'll continue to put pressure on Bryce Klein.
can clean up the entry just a little bit. Right here you see went over. He didn't kick out quite early enough, but still beautifully executed at the top.
It's good enough to have Karn back in first place at the moment with 3 divers still to go here in round 4. Next up, Daniel Kinney.
Awards. Six, 6.5, 6, 5.5, 5.5. Mitchell, 107C, 3.0.
This is a big dive. Forward 3.5. Can you do 3 flips on a diving board, Lincoln?
I can't even do 3 somersaults on the ground.
Look at the height. With those feet.
107C, 3.0.
I'll deduct for those.
That puts Mitchell Goddard now in front. Bryce Klein with a chance to finish for a 4th straight round.
Ooh. They'll deduct big for that, Lincoln. That's a bad feeling. You saw him lean forward just too much. It just wasn't the right approach. You never want to balk. See how he comes back. Wow. Much better the second time. His approach was right at the end of the board. That's where they want your feet right at the edge, but his first time around he was going to be over. See right there, perfect on the edge of the board. Great rotation, came out. Perfect timing, just not a quite clean entry. But they deduct big for that first balk.
4, 3.5, 4, 3.5, 4. Tori, 5134D, 2.6. Awards.
Solid dive. It's a little off when he came out of that twist, but the entry is very clean.
Again, that was Tory Wagner, the freshman. He had a 2:23.75 back in the prelims. Be the last man in here to the finals.
Lincoln, the facilities here are amazing. As a diver, being able to watch your dive, especially in big meets like this, right when you get out of the pool, he's going to go back and there's a big video monitor right behind where the divers start. You can see your dive. That helps a lot.
You can see that monitor in the background.
That's a nice dive.
6.5, 6, 6.5 across.
When I walked by it, I just thought it was for selfies.
I'm not so sure the coaches would like that, Lincoln. Selfies during practice.
Awards. 6, 6.
Lower degree of difficulty, but you see how well he executed there.
Yeah, it's good enough to put Hunt now in the lead.
Kyle, 5134D, 2.6.
Back to Kyle Kennedy.
Awards. Isaac, 53-33D, 2.6.
Isaac Karn has been another young man who has performed well here early on. Let's see if he can recapture the advantage.
That was very nice. Great takeoff. Came out of his twist nice, was able to enter the water clean.
And those scores on this dive put him back in front.
51-34D, 2.6.
Still 3 divers to go. Daniel Kinney up next.
Slightly too much rotation there. It was clean. I'm surprised they didn't take off more, but it's because he went in the water so clean. But it's slightly over-rotated right there.
Mitchell Godar again. We've got 3 seniors at the end of this rotation. Good looking dive for Mitchell, but he also has the benefit of all of Cincinnati being right there by the diving boards.
You can hear them cheering loudly for him.
How does Bryce Klein recover?
Well, he can't afford another balk. It's 2 points deducted when that happens. Wow, that's how he recovers. That's how he recovers, Lincoln. And best dive of the day right there.
That's about the best amnesia you could hope for an athlete.
He takes over the lead with that dive. That was gorgeous.
Klein wrestles that advantage away from Godar. Yeah, that's a good sign going into the final round in terms of confidence. Final dive for the freshman Torrey Wagner at his American debut.
Devin, 51-34D, 2.6.
Now punctuation from Devin Nugent.
Awards. 6.5, 6. 6.5 across.
Great last dive for him.
Again, that's a pair of freshmen. Nice showings here. Now the junior from Cincinnati, Louis Hunt, with his final dive.
Awards. 4, 4.5, 4 across.
I think that's a season high for him, though.
Kyle, 52-33D, 2.5.
A little rough on the entry, but he wraps the day up nicely.
Dive number 6 for Kyle Kennedy, UConn sophomore. Again, one of 3 divers for John Bransfield at UConn.
Very nice.
Awards. 6, 6, 6, 6, 5.5. Isaac, 52-33D.
Everybody's still chasing Bryce Klein, but Isaac Karn has certainly had some memorable moments here through the first 5 rounds.
Awards. 6.5,
Solid dive.
Daniel,
He will be in the lead.
53.35D, 3.0.
Nobody able to knock Klein yet off the top spot. And Bryce Klein from SMU has won the last 2 years. How about Daniel Kinney?
Wow. That was gorgeous. Could have been slightly cleaner on the entry, Lincoln, but the top of this dive was one of the prettiest we've seen all day.
6, 7, 6.5 across.
Scores show it.
Judges agree.
Gorgeous. Great rotation, keeps his feet almost together slightly came apart there just at the end, but all in all, great dive to end on.
At the moment, Isaac Karn, though, is your leader. Godar's final dive.
Wow. He ripped that. That was the cleanest entry I think we've seen today.
And it is going to put Mitchell Godar in front and put the pressure on the final dive here. Coming up from Klein.
53.35D, 3.0.
Klein has already had his throwaway moment.
Need 37.45 on this dive to take the lead. I think he should be able to get that. Degree of difficulty 3. As long as he doesn't completely bomb this Lincoln, he's got it in the bag. That should do it.
6.5, 7.5, 6.5, 7, 6.5.
That does.
That concludes the men's 1 meter final event. Thank you, judges. Thank you, table.
Another year. Bryce Klein gets it again.
It started his sophomore campaign. The junior and now senior, a 3-time champion in the American. And a nice showing for the Mustang men with that individual performance. Again, he grew up nearby in Southlake, Texas. Past 4 years, a standout as a Mustang at SMU. Looking to go out here at the conference championships in his own backyard.
3 straight conference titles for this guy. You can't beat that. Right in your backyard, Lincoln. Up next for him, NCAA zones. But he'll enjoy this one right now, at least until the 3 meter.
Well, that puts us at the midway mark here on day 1. What a great 4-day event this is going to be. Fantastic venue. And the fact that these student athletes finally have a chance to all file in with championships on the line. You see it in their energy, cheering on their teammates. As soon enough, Bryce Klein will be back atop the podium. And we will have a chance to see the women with the 3 meter diving on display. What are you looking forward to the most?
You know, it should be interesting because Michaela Booter of Houston has won. She's been the same thing that Bryce Klein has done. She's won the last 2 years. We're looking at the same thing. So can anybody stop her? I'm anxious to see. She's really, really a wonderful athlete, a wonderful diver. So let's see if she can pull off another conference championship and keep the tally going up for Houston.
Again, you are looking inside the beautiful Robson and Lindley Aquatic Center, Bar McMillian Natatorium. Its first year as the home of SMU. It was well worth the wait for them to be able to call this place home. We appreciate, again, all the support staff from the American and SMU helping put on this event this week. First-class experience for the student athletes, coaches, and a couple of broadcasters as well, just enjoying their time here. Surrounded by a lot of talented student athletes with a chance to capture some championships and represent their schools today and this week.
This is a huge scoring event for the Cougars, this 3 meter women's diving. Because not only do you have Michaela Booter of Houston, who's the reigning most outstanding diver, but her teammate, Caitlin Abernathy, finished runner-up to Booter last year. and she'll look to do the same, if not better. Challenge her teammate. Either way, if they can repeat, lots of points on the board for Houston.
Let me ask you, how do most divers get involved in the sport?
A lot of divers are ex-gymnasts, like myself. When I was growing up, I became too tall. I'm 5'8". That's not that tall, but at 5'8", at some point, you know, they say, all right, you can't do the beam, you can't do the bars, your feet are hitting everything, and gymnastics just is a little bit tough. So they always recommend, hey, why don't you try diving? You're great at flipping, you're comfortable, you have good body awareness. That's how a lot of women get in the sport. And when we see the platform competition, you'll really see who the gymnasts are. They're the ones with the best arm stands always. But it's interesting.
Again, Kristen Keith, pole vaulter as a Razorback and dabbled on the diving board as well. Something about the heights.
Yeah, that's right. You know, anything crazy, any of the crazy sports sign me up. So I went to Arkansas for pole vaulting, picked up diving my junior year, and I loved it, Lincoln. If I would have picked it up sooner, I might still be doing it, but it's been a while since I touched the board, so it's nice to at least see and appreciate some great athletes.
Take a look back at what we just witnessed. The 6 rounds for the men complete on the 1 meter.
Isaac Karn there.
Yeah, Karn and Godar were really the two who pushed Bryce Klein the most. Bryce had that one balk, but you saw him overcome it. How important was it for Klein after the balk that on that dive, he got a good one in, even though they were going to deduct the points, so that he could still have that momentum going into that next round?
I mean, that's tough, Lincoln. When he came back, he handled it well. They deduct 2 points for that balk. That's in your head. But the dive after that was his best of the day. The fact that he had that short-term memory is a big reason he was able to clinch this win and get his 3rd straight.
Well, it's a couple of Bearcats on the podium and flanking in between. A 3rd straight year, it's Bryce Klein with the gold. And that smile is just as big as it was when he was a sophomore, taking the title for a first time. You hear us talk about the hours that these student athletes put into this just to try to taste a fraction of the success that these individuals are right now. It's hard to overstate how much has been put into all this effort. And you see
all right, get in here.
Bearcats were looking for a team photo, and now welcome in the Mustang as well.
It's a small community. I mean, these guys are used to seeing each other not only at dual meets, but at the conference championships, and they probably know each other growing up. It's a really small world, the diving community is, so it's fun when it's friendly competition like that.
They do everything but leave each other notes at the end of the diving board. So Bryce Klein, your first success story for the men of SMU this week. Mentioned he holds the SMU and conference records for the 1 meter. As a sophomore, pulled off a score just in excess of 400 for the meet record. Right now, the women just warming up while everybody wants a chance to give their congratulations to Bryce there among the Mustangs. Bryce is making his way over towards Kristen. She'll have a chance to catch up with the 3-time champ. And let's see how the veteran handles the post-dive interview.
All right, Bryce, 3-time champion, 3rd straight in the 1 meter. How did it feel there today?
It felt great. I mean, those are the type of contests that you want to be in. You know, when people are having great lists and people are hitting dives, it's just an energy that you want to be a part of. You know, especially with the swimmers supporting. It's, you know, this is why we're here. You know, this is what makes it special. So that was great.
You had that balk in round 4, but
Yep.
you came back in round 5 with your best dive, I think, of the day.
Yep.
How were you able to bounce back so quick?
Preparation. When something like that happens and it throws you off balance, you have to be able to come back and really answer. And the work that me and Darian have done this year in gym, the 3 years and 4 years before that, it's all been about how to bounce back from adversity. And that kind of stuff's going to happen. In big meets, there's going to be a miss, there's going to be something that happens like that, but you got to be able to throw down in the next dive and really stay calm. And I think that the preparation allowed me to do that.
Congratulations on today, and good luck in the 3-meter. We'll see you later on.
Thank you so much. Pony up.
Lincoln.
Well, I would say he nailed that one. Bryce Klein with our Kristen Keith. We'll step aside when we come back. It's the women on the 3-meter diving boards here in Dallas.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Power comes in all forms. Power is a big tackle,
a big save,
a clutch hit,
and a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials, student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions
while at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
For every hero, there is an origin story, an experience that made them who they are. For a new generation of explorers, pioneers, and innovators, that experience is calling, offering a different kind of education, one guided by distinguished professors who understand experience is the best teacher. Greatness lies beyond the classroom. This is where you start. University of Cincinnati. Do more.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
Oh, that ball is hit deep, left field, way back. That ball is gone. Double play ball potentially Schreitenthal's over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
At SMU, students and faculty work hand in hand to shape answers to real-world challenges.
Yes, there's no such thing as a lesser person.
How can we strengthen human rights around the world?
It turns out computer malware is extreme.
How do we prevent cyber terrorism?
The limb comes off.
How can the human body set new records of performance? What can presidents teach us about leadership? From the SMU campus in Dallas, we're shaping the answers that will shape the future of the world.
When it comes to learning at Tulane University, there are no boundaries. Architects and scientists in New Orleans, doctors and public health experts in Africa, history and language scholars in Latin America, legal students and professors in Europe, business students in Asia. Tulanians are all over the globe, and the world is their oyster. We've got that and a lot more right here at Tulane University.
This is a classroom.
This is a lab.
This is a study break.
This is family.
This is home.
This is Yukon.
All right, we
We are now ready to begin the Women's 3-meter championship.
We welcome you back to the American Swimming and Diving Championships. Right now, the emphasis diving, as Lincoln Rose, Kristen Keith with you for the women's 3-meter dive. As the women had a chance to warm back up after a little bit of a layoff there. And I look forward to seeing what we have. Michaela Bowder is your headliner in terms of returning from a year ago. The Houston Cougar, now a senior, was your most outstanding diver last season. Looking to defend her title here in the 3 meters, but she barely qualifies. A lot of standout performers from a year ago who were back this year actually failed to qualify in the prelims, as a youth movement has kind of taken things over. And I look forward to learning a few new names over the next 6 rounds.
Yeah, it looked like Catherine Crown of SMU, a freshman, actually led in the prelims there. She scored 282, so she's going to be the first one coming in. As you mentioned, Michaela Bowder, she barely made it in, along with her teammate, Lauren Burrell. Both of them were expected to win the event, so it'll be interesting to see if they can bounce back from prelims or not, Lincoln.
Remember, when you're looking at the overall team title, Bowder's teammates in the 800 free relay have already captured a victory in one event. And let's see if she can adjust to batting leadoff here. Our first of 8 divers. Forward 1.5 somersault pike.
6.5, 6, 7, 6.5, 7.
And it's a nice start for Bowder.
Great entry.
25B, 2.4.
We go to her teammate, the sophomore, Lauren Burrell. These are your 2 Cougars.
She took second place last season. A little bit over on the entry. Clean at the top, but just a little bit over. You see that splash.
Each diver will have 6 dives.
2.4.
As we will keep for each dive that graphic in the top left corner of your screen. Rouchet for the Pirates, 3rd in this rotation. And for the senior out of Greensboro, North Carolina, one last chance to represent the Pirates here in conference. Head diving coach for ECU, Jesse Lyman. Our first Bearcat, Claire Sherman. Talk about how well the men did on the 1 meter, taking 2 of the top 3 spots. Let's see if that inspires Claire.
Good inward 2.5. Again, slightly over on the entry. Really solid on the rotation, though. Puts her head down just a little bit at the takeoff. It's probably why she went over.
3 of our last 4 divers in this rotation, freshmen, in their first conference meet. And that is Erin Clifford, the Westtown New Yorker for UConn.
New York State champion. Holds both of her high school's diving records. Springboard champion.
Next freshman for SMU, Taylor Olhauser.
Born in Edmonton, Alberta. Ooh, pretty entry, but pushed back just a little far from the diving board.
We'll see a few Canadians over the next 4 days.
Oh, I take that back. That's just the angle we're looking at our monitor. That was a nice entry.
Here's Sarah Blank. She's actually from right here in Texas, over in Midland and West Texas, but started off at Clemson, transferred to ECU, and the Pirate now a junior.
She finished 11th in the ACC championships last year for Clemson.
And it brings us to the final diver competing for the title this year, Catherine Crown, the freshman for SMU.
Yeah, Katie Crown, she trained with Bryce Klein, also from Southlake. Wow, gorgeous. Low degree of difficulty, but it doesn't matter when you get scores like that. That's how you make up for it.
Beginning round 2, Michaela, 105B, 2.4.
Wow, really, really nice dive. Feet together, great pike, great entry.
So again, we go from the freshman from the Dallas area, Katie Crown, now back to the senior for the Cougars, Michaela Bowder.
That was a great dive.
6.5, 6.
She'll be the leader at the moment.
Lauren, 205C, 2.8.
Good takeoff, but just slight feet apart on that entry and a little bit late.
Alicia, 205C, 2.8.
Right there.
Back to Alicia Rouchet. Claire Sherman, the Bearcat. Claire from Kettering, Ohio.
Wow. That was gorgeous with a 2.8 degree of difficulty. You see the height that she was able to get at the top of that dive and her rotation. Great rotation speed.
You'll see all of her teammates will actually just out of the shot there. And again, our first of 3 freshmen down the stretch, back to Erin Clifford of UConn. As she has now completed 2 of her 6 dives.
6, 5.5, 5, 5.5, 5.5. Taylor, 105B, 2.4.
Olhauser back to enter her own pool.
Wow. I mentioned Katie Crown, her teammate, who's also a freshman. Now, Olhauser was born in Edmonton, Alberta, as I mentioned, but she went to school down the street, Keller High School, not too far from Southlake. They think they actually trained together for GC Divers, and if you know anything about diving, GC Divers is one of the premier programs in the country. You can see why between those two.
How often are we looking at SMU programs and how they can recruit from anywhere, but they don't have to recruit far from home with so much talent in their backyard in the Dallas area?
That's right. And when you talk about diving, that's one of the best places to recruit from. It's nice that they've been able to pull some homegrown talent over to their pool here because this is one of the best facilities that I've seen.
Again, there's the second dive from Sarah Blank of ECU, and now the other freshman for SMU, and Katie Crown.
Had a little trouble there with her approach and her hurdle. Was able to recover pretty nicely.
5.5, 6, 5.5,
You think after watching Bryce Klein, she'll throw a balk in just to
I don't think so.
try to
Nobody throws
follow
those
his
in
footsteps?
on purpose, Lincoln.
Oh, surely that would up the degree of difficulty.
Man, I was so scared of balking in college, mostly because of my coach, not because of the deductions, but because of his wrath.
On to round 3 now with Michaela Bowder for Houston.
Awards. 6, 6.5, 5, 5.5, 5. Lauren, 305C, 2.8.
Well, of course, they position the
judges right there.
They see everything.
Yeah, that's why I like the 1 meter. You know, you're a little farther away. You can hide a little bit more of those mistakes. But when you're on the 3 meter right here, they see everything. Great
and
entry.
That's Bowder's teammate, Lauren Burrell, the sophomore.
She wasn't quite able to get her hand closed in time, but the entry was still very clean.
7.5, 7.
And that is a brilliant showing by Burrell.
105E, 2.4.
There are some of the individuals who are not charged to enter the premises. Our judges looking on, and some coaches.
Awards.
Nice dive there for Alicia.
6.5, 6, 6, 6.5. Claire, 305C, 2.8.
This will be another very difficult dive, 2.8 degree of difficulty.
Awards.
Pretty well. Slightly late there on the entry. A little bit late kicking out. Great rotation, great form.
Back to Erin Clifford, our lone Yukon Husky.
Awards. 5, 5.5, 4.5 across. Taylor, 205C, 2.8.
Back to the Canadian.
Wow. You can really see from that angle, Lincoln, how clean that entry was. And still just solid 6 scores. Look at this entry.
Right now, Lauren Burrell, who is second in the rotation, is the diver to beat.
Awards.
As that puts now Sarah Blank at the midway mark, completing 3 of her 6 dives today.
Katie, 205C, 2.8.
And Katie Crown, who I don't know if it's really a benefit to see all of your competitors complete their dives first.
You know, you're not competing against the other divers, you're competing against yourself
Right.
more than anything.
Awards.
The only advantage is if you're running away with it on that 6th dive, you can go with the cannonball.
That's your style. Halfway through the round, it looks like Lauren Burrell is going to be our leader halfway through.
Yeah, Burrell tickled the 7.5 number from some of the judges. So round 4 again begins with Michaela Bowder.
Awards.
Bowder choosing some very simple dives, but executing them cleanly. As a diver, when you make your list, it's always a hard decision because it's like, do I want to go for that really hard dive just because, you know, I can, but it might be a little messy, or do I go for the easier dive and try and really nail it?
This is our leader, Lauren Burrell, sophomore for Houston.
That was nice. She ripped that.
Judge 2, 6, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 6.
So 3 6s, a 5.5, and a 6.5 on that dive for those who missed it.
Alicia, 305C, 2.8.
Back to the senior Rouchet.
Solid dive. Her arms were a little bit late getting over her head, but very nice at the top.
5.5, 6, 6, 6.5. Claire, 205C, 2.8.
Very nice.
And the lone Bearcat with the full attention of all of her teammates.
That might give her the lead. Let's see if it did.
Aaron, 5233D, 2.4.
Nope.
It is
She's
still
close, though.
Still Lauren Burrell in the driver's seat, second in the rotation.
Oh, very pretty.
6, 6, 6.
And again, we're back to these freshmen, although we'll have a junior in a moment. It's such a bright future for this conference.
2.8.
Yeah, a very young field this year. Only 2 seniors made finals. And 1 junior.
The B final earlier today had 4 freshmen in it and a couple of sophomores.
I'm impressed with the consistency. We've seen a lot of good, solid dives.
5.5, 6, 5.5 across. Sarah, 5333D, 2.5.
Back to the junior Pirates, Sarah Blank.
I like her French braid. She actually went to cosmetology school and is licensed. You can still.
You can't avoid getting the hair wet, can you?
No. You know, a lot of girls will wear caps. They'll wear swim caps to keep their hair out of the way. This is a great way to do it, though.
305C, 2.8.
If you can braid that well. I can't, so.
No comment.
I didn't go to cosmetology school. I take it you didn't either?
Not yet.
Oh. You could tell she wanted that one back. She had a tough time with her hurdle.
3.5, 3, 4, 3.5, 3.
That'll be the one that Crown will hope to have discarded.
You know, she still did a really good job at the top of the dive, though. If she would have held on and kicked down a tiny bit later, she would have salvaged that. But that hurdle, I'm impressed that she was able to get such a good top part of that dive out.
Now let me ask you, if you're someone like here with Michaela Bowder and you just saw someone struggle with an approach,
No.
does
no
that get in
effect.
your head?
Does
No.
not. If it's a teammate, maybe. Beauty. Exactly.
Again, that is last year's champion, Michaela Bowder. She has won the last 2 years. And you almost feel like there's a little less pressure on her.
Lauren, 5233D, 2.4.
This is still your leader, Bowder's teammate, the sophomore Lauren Burrell. And she just has one more dive to go, potentially to lock up a championship.
Alicia, 405C, 2.7.
Second to last dive for Alicia Rouchet.
A little short on the entry. Wasn't quite able to get vertical where she wants to be. She sat back a little too much at the takeoff right there.
Claire, 52.35D, 2.8.
That was a very nice dive. 2.8 degree of difficulty.
5.5, 5, 5.5, 5.5, 6.
I think she's in second place at the moment.
Erin, 205C, 2.8.
That was gorgeous. She ripped that. Clean on the entry.
6, 5.5, 6.
Good look for Erin Clifford, and now back to Taylor Olhauser.
Taylor, 52.33D, 2.4. Awards.
She jumped that one out a little bit too far away from the board, but was able to finish well.
Sarah Blank to the edge of the board with 2 dives remaining.
This would be the same dive that you just saw from Taylor. Very nice. Good distance, clean entry. Good scores.
And time to close out round number 5. Another look at the nice showing from Blank.
It was a gorgeous entry.
Catherine Crown and everybody else right now chasing Lauren Burrell.
Awards. Beginning our final round, Michaela, 52.31D, 2.0.
So entering round 6, how good of a grasp does each diver have of where they stand?
You know where you're at, for the most part. You might not know, the exact order, but for yourself, you know exactly what it's going to take if you're in contention for 1, 2, or 3 or not. It's usually those people who are fighting for spots 2 or 3.
This is your 2-time defending champ.
Wow. Again, a low degree of difficulty, but she nails it. See, 6.5 right there, but only 39 total points from that dive because of the low degree of difficulty.
She's trying to wrestle the lead away from her own teammate. And here is that teammate, Lauren Burrell's final dive to try to lock up a championship here in the American at 3 meters.
That was pretty. Slightly over on the entry, but gorgeous dive to finish on. Solid performance from Lauren Burrell today.
Alicia, 51.34D, 2.5.
So we will have a new champion this year, but it could very well be a 4th straight year that a Cougar wins it. Taylor Orlansky won the title in 2015 before Bowder took over as your top diver from 3 meters these last 2 years. And Ruche completes her final dive. Back to Claire Sherman for dive number 6, the sophomore.
Wow. Great entry, vertical. She really hits that well. Didn't quite rip it, but great vertical entry into the water. That's the position you want to be in when you go in.
Again, Erin Clifford in her first championship, the freshman for UConn.
Awards. 6'6", 5.5, 6'6". Taylor, 405C, 2.7.
Right now, 2 Mustangs and a Pirate stand in Lauren Burrell's way of a championship. The first of the Mustangs, Olhauser.
Wow. Very good. Great showing from the freshman for her first conference meet.
Yeah, nice finish for Olhauser. Everybody's still looking up at Lauren Burrell, though. Sarah Blank.
Awards. 5, 5, 5, 5.
As she looks up, that means only Katie Crown stands in Lauren Burrell's way of a championship. Sarah Blank certainly put on a nice show as well. Here is Crown, the freshman.
Wow. Great performance from her as well.
But that will confirm it for a 4th straight year. A Houston Cougar will be your champion on the women's 3-meter diving. It's a new name this year. Lauren Burrell joins past champions Bowder and Orlansky. We will step aside for a moment here in Dallas. We hope to catch up with the champion and see the gold being handed out when we return. You're watching live coverage of the 2018 American Athletic Conference Swimming and Diving Championships here in North Texas.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone. Double play ball potentially Schreitenthal over to first. In time. Double play, and that ends the game.
$7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Power comes in all forms. Power is a big tackle,
A big save.
A clutch hit.
And a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials, student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments.
profanities, or other improper actions.
While at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
Two-time defending champ to 8th.
For our athletes currently in the competition pool. We will begin at about 6 minutes after the hour with the women's 200 meter relay. That will be our first event back in the competition pool. About 6 minutes after the hour, and we are approaching the top of the hour, the second clock. All right, ladies and gentlemen, some good Direct your attention to the podium for the awards presentation of our women's 3-meter diving. Presenting our awards from Cincinnati, Kirtley Crumbles. Your top 8 ladies in the women's 3-meter diving. In 8th place from Houston, Michaela Bowder. In 7th place from SMU, Catherine Crown. In 6th place from ECU, Sarah Blank. In 5th place from ECU, Alicia Rouchet. In 4th place from UConn, Erin Clifford. And now your top 3 medalists in our women's 3-meter diving championship. In 3rd place, your bronze medalist with a total 272.40 from SMU, Taylor Olhauser. Your silver medalist with a 278.40 from Cincinnati, Claire Sherman. And your gold medalist, the women's 3-meter diving, her final score 287.45. From Houston, Lauren Morrell. Another round of applause for your top 8 ladies in the women's 3-meter diving, including your champion and gold medalist from Houston, Lauren Morrell. Congratulations, ladies. And for our athletes, in about 6 minutes after the hour, about 5 minutes from right now, we will have our next event. That will be the women's 200-yard medley relay.
Well, it has been a good day here in Dallas for the Houston Cougars. You see some Mustangs with their showing on the diving boards, but ultimately the Houston Cougars are going to take the top spot, as you saw in the ceremony. And again, Kristen, that means for the women of Houston, they're right where they want to be.
Absolutely. They took first and 8th place in this event. They scored 31 points in the 3-meter. That gives them a grand total right now of 71. So they'll be leading the competition.
And of course, they had a convincing showing in the women's 800-yard freestyle relay. As we hope in a moment to have a chance to catch up with our newest champion off the 3-meter board. As Michaela Bowder makes her way over. And Michaela is now with Kristen.
I'm actually with Lauren Burrell, the champion. Michaela was last year's champion, but I've got this year's champion. You had a heck of a performance today. I know you've already qualified for zones, so walk me through the strategy of preparing for today's meet.
Well, I've been off for a couple weeks for like a knee injury, and I really just came in to try my best because I didn't know I would be right here, but yeah.
I know you've scored over 400 points earlier this season. Today you get 287, but you have zones coming up. When you go to that zones meet, are you going to stick with this list or are you going to change it up?
I will probably stick with this list.
Good way to start for the Cougars today. Obviously, you guys have done well in the relays, and you and your teammate both get 31 points to add to your team. How good does it feel to start this day this way?
Feels great. We wanted to come in and win, and I feel like we had a great first day, and we just got to keep going.
Absolutely. Congratulations. Good luck the rest of the meet.
Thank you.
Lincoln?
All right, thank you again. Yes, that is sophomore Lauren Burrell, your champion this year. Her teammate, Michaela Bowder, won her first title as a sophomore, repeated as a junior. And we'll see if Lauren next year has a chance to defend her title. Again, that pool will be a lot busier when we come back, as it will be the final event on the day here, day number 1 in Dallas for the women. It'll be the 200-yard medley relay. Again, Lincoln Rose, Kristen Keith with you here on the American Digital Network. This is the first of 4 straight days in Dallas, crowning champions. It'll all accumulate up to that Saturday night when we will crown a women's and men's overall champion. Of course, Houston won that title last year for the women. ECU, 3 straight years on the men's side. But you look around this natatorium, there's a lot of optimism that we may have a new champion. Those Pirates don't want to hear about it. They want to make it 4 straight.
I know. Lincoln, it's insane. Houston has such good momentum right now. The Pirates are doing well as well, but I'm really impressed with the way Houston showed up on day 1. They do have that target on their back, but the way they've come out and they've performed, good way to start day 1.
So both the women and men, one more event here on this opening night. It'll be the 200-yard medley relay for the women. Up next here on the American Digital Network.
It is loud in here. This place is rocking. SMU has won the last 3 years straight in this 200-yard medley. We'll be looking for 4 right here.
The Mustangs in their home pool in lane 6. Again, just 6 of the 8 lanes will be occupied. Those Houston Cougars in lane 4 will have 2 lane in lane 5, ECU in lane 3. Those UConn Huskies across the way in lane 7, Cincinnati in lane 2 here on the near side at the bottom of your screen. Cincinnati with Lindsay Niehaus. You see for SMU, Matea Samardzic in the pool. ECU has Logan Grauman. Li Zhang for Tulane in lane 5. Georgia Apostolou, freshman for UConn. Backstroke complete. And already halfway through breaststroke.
Houston and SMU.
The two Texas programs tangling with the early advantage. For Houston, Condas has touched SMU right behind her.
The freshman from Houston and the sophomore from SMU battling it out in the butterfly right now.
Of course, after butterfly, it'll be freestyle. Erin Trahan for the Mustangs. Battling with Higgins, the freshman for Houston. And the final lap of freestyle. SMU has Felicity Pattinson, a freshman. Right now it's Houston. Caitlin Horner, the senior. Mustangs, Cougars at the wire.
I think it was, wow, what a finish.
SMU with a time of 1:38.56, just able to out-touch Houston 1:38.57.
What a finish by Felicity Pattinson.
You saw still in the pool there, Caitlin Horner, the senior. I don't think she can question anything she did. 1/100th of a second.
She's probably questioning the equipment. That's what I would be doing. It's always tough in these times.
Again, for SMU, it began with the backstroke of Matea Samardzic, the senior. Andrea Podmanikova, the freshman, would follow up with the breaststroke. Erin Trahan, the sophomore, with the butterfly. And Felicity Pattinson, the freshman, would claim her first title in the American.
Pattinson from Seychelles. She's competed in the World Championships 2013, 2015, and 2017, as well as the Commonwealth Games.
Went to high school over in the United Kingdom.
Plymouth College. She swam around the world, and now she helped her team finish out this conference championship title.
Those Cougars will capture points for second place after they claim the relay title in the 800 freestyle. I saw a diving championship go their way a moment ago on the 3-meter. The women are done for tonight. We'll have awards and an interview soon enough. But this leads us to just our final event. It'll be the men in the exact same 200-yard medley relay. The Mustangs in their pool with their first title here at home. Again, we welcome you back poolside inside the Robson Lindley Aquatic Center, Bar McMillian Natatorium, Lincoln Rose, along with Kristen Keith. And it's been an exciting day. So many impressive athletes, but how often have we been talking about freshmen and sophomores here today?
I'm so impressed with not only the fact that there's been so many to show up today, but at the level that they've shown up, Lincoln. Now, it takes a good athlete to come into a conference meet, throw away those nerves, and actually perform the way that we've seen a lot of these guys performing today.
Again, here in the American, no stranger seeing great talent, but it just gets you that more optimistic about the bright future ahead for all of these programs and what is still to come. For SMU, I know they wanted to put on a show as your host over these 4 days in Dallas.
As I mentioned early in the broadcast, they want that revenge from Houston. Houston took away the title from them last year after they had two straight from 2015 and 2016 being the champions those years. They're ready to bring it back home in this new wonderful facility.
All right, let's listen in again as they recap your top 3 finishers over on the podium.
In 6th place for our ladies, UConn. In 5th place, ECU. In 4th place, Cincinnati. And now your top 3 medling relay teams. In 3rd place with a finals time of 1:39.94, Tulane. Your silver medalist with a finals time of 1:38.57, Houston. And your gold medalist and now 4-time champion with a finals time 1:38.56, Mateja Samardzic. Andrea Podmanikova, Aaron Trahan, and Felicity Passon, SMU.
Again, a time of 1:38.56, 1/100th of a second faster than the Houston Cougars, who take silver.
That's why the relays are so exciting, Lincoln. It comes down to every single stroke, every second, every 100th of a second. It matters. The relays are so much fun to watch. That's why it gets so loud in here. You see all of the teams crowded around poolside.
That was an event that SMU was able to take last year with Samardzic leading off. She's able to do the same this year. It's the 4th straight year the Mustangs take the title in the 200-yard medley relay, beginning back in 2015. Before that, Houston had actually had the fastest time in the league this year in the 200 medley relay, as well as the 400, which we'll see later on this week. But all smiles for the Mustangs. We'll have a chance to catch up with them soon enough. As Kristen will have a chance to catch up with, I believe, Mateja Samardzic on behalf of SMU. All right, let's go ahead and check in with Kristen and Mateja.
All right, Mateja, you guys clinched the first victory for the Mustangs today in that relay. What did it take from you guys?
Well, we are very excited that we won this relay because it's one of our favorite relays. And, well, a lot of hard work throughout the season, and we're very excited that we did well.
It came down to 1/100th of a second of you guys clinching that win over Houston. How did that part feel?
Honestly, it felt good because the tight races are the best kind of races, and it pulls the best out of you.
What's it going to take for you guys to continue to push and try and get on top of the Houston Cougars from here on out?
Well, a lot of support from our teammates, and we just have to swim fast.
Wonderful relay race. Good luck the rest of the meet.
Thank you.
Lincoln.
All right, part of that Croatian national team from Split. A lot of impressive young student athletes on display here. And certainly appreciate their time. Congratulations to SMU as they pick up their first championship for the women in the relay. And that brings us to our final event on the day. It's the men's 200-yard medley relay. Of course, with 4 men's programs, the pool will seem half empty, but everybody will be focused on a tight race in those middle 4 lanes.
Just like Mateja said, the relays really are. They're the most exciting. Every point, everything that you do in that pool, in that water, and your takeoff matters. It comes down to the very end.
she's the only one who doesn't get to follow the excitement of a teammate into the pool. By nature, with the racing backstroke, has to start already in the pool, start at the wall, but the rest of her teammates were able to feed off of what she was able to get started. So SMU, UConn, ECU, and Cincinnati competing for our final title of the night.
UConn will come in with the highest seed time of 129.68, just edging out ECU with a time of 130.84.
SMU has won this event the last 2 years. The first man in the pool for SMU will be Ralph Koo, but he was your last man in a year ago. So he goes from freestyle to racing back. It's his second year here in this medley relay. Golchick back in this as well. Will be doing the butterfly. So you see SMU, UConn, ECU, and Cincinnati at the top of your screen in lane 6. Just down and back. Backstroke is underway.
Will Kersey leads it off for UConn. He's a two-time AAC champion. He won it in the 100-yard and the 200-yard backstroke last season.
There's a sophomore for the Huskies. Well, UConn was the first to get in the pool here for the breaststroke. And maintaining that advantage is Marcus Hunter, the junior.
From South Africa.
Keanu Kitching for SMU. Right now in third. And UConn maintains its advantage. Now with butterfly. David May, a freshman. He may have just seen the advantage slip away.
Gustavo Santos is trying to cover it up. The Brazilian.
Santos, the sophomore for ECU. Pirates had the lead for freestyle. It's Gavin Erdman. Final leg of free.
He's from Katy, Texas, the junior. He's going to try and take it home.
And it is Gavin Erdman closing it out for ECU as the Pirates will take the men's 200-yard medley relay for just the second time in program history here in the American. The first time since back in 2015. What a comeback.
Wow.
Remember, those are your three-time overall defending champs. And those points will certainly be a great way to close out this opening day. So it all began with Tristan Taylor with the backstroke. Strong showings with both breaststroke and butterfly. Really, the butterfly of Santos got them back in it. And Gavin Erdman able to pull away with freestyle, anchoring the medley relay.
Yeah, they came in with a seed time of 130.84, Lincoln. And they were able to shed 3 seconds off that, finishing at 127.78. That's impressive, especially when it's just a 200.
So our final medals being handed out tonight. We take a look back at your men's 200-yard medley relay. UConn with such a strong start, but ECU able to close on its final 2 laps. You see the advantage that Marcus Hunter was able to keep going there for UConn with the breaststroke. But an excellent entry, and ultimately ECU able to take this one here in 2018.
You talk about the comeback from sophomore Gustavo Santos in the butterfly. He took gold last year in the 100 butterfly for ECU, and he was all conference in 4 events. he'll be the guy to beat in the butterfly this year.
Well, we mentioned not just these individual races in terms of championships to go out, but the team title. Those Pirates, they certainly fit the label, don't they? They wouldn't exactly be stealing the title at the end of the week. They've done it the last 3 years. They're right where they think they belong. For the first time this week, they'll be atop the podium, capturing the 200-yard medley relay. When we come back, those final golds will go the way of the Pirates, and we'll have a chance to check in with ECU to say goodnight here on day one in Dallas as you're watching live coverage of the American Swimming and Diving Championships for the men and women here on the American Digital Network.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Power comes in all forms. Power is a big tackle,
A big save.
A clutch hit.
And a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right. Power is respecting an opponent, officials, student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments.
Profanities or other improper actions.
While at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
Harvey Greer in fourth place with Cincinnati. And now,
and one final time tonight, we welcome you poolside, Lincoln Rose, along with Chris and Keith. And any favorite moments from this opening day?
You know, to be honest, for me, because I'm a diver, it has to be when Bryce Klein, he came back after that balk on 1 meter.
And amazing what he's overcome with his shoulder.
You know what? I found out after talking to him, he has a torn labrum, and he's actually going to have surgery on that at the end of the season. So he's fighting through a lot of pain every time he competes. Every time he does anything, you know, he's got that shoulder pain, and he's been able to battle through that. So yeah, that's definitely probably my high point of the day.
The bronze to UConn, the silver to SMU, and we'll let you listen in as your champions of the Pirates are recognized.
ECU.
So before we wish you a good night, we'll check in with those Pirates. But, Kristen, those are significant points that they're able to capture. That puts them in the hunt for another title here in 2018. Right now, they stand in third behind Cincinnati and UConn.
Yeah, it's been a pretty tight race on the men's side so far. Cincinnati leading the meet at 123. Then behind them, the Huskies of UConn have 102 points on the day. East Carolina has 93, and SMU has 88. So a pretty close race for the men. But all in all, it's going to be. We've got 3 more days of action to cover it up. So.
We got started an hour earlier today, 5 o'clock Central. The next 3 days, we will have coverage for you at 6 Central, but with plenty more championships to go out. Can't believe I've gone this long without wishing everybody a happy Valentine's Day. I'm sure there's a lot of people thrilled that they could say, you know, I didn't make those reservations, not because I forgot, but because I made plans for us to watch some swimming and diving.
Right? You know, it was kind of nice. So I said, you know what? I'm sorry to all of you other single men out there. I'm actually busy this year, but yeah, that's not by choice. I didn't have any date options though. Did you?
We had a lot of people on our crew who are happily married and had to make some phone calls earlier today. Just a little preemptory apologies again for not being there in person.
Happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there.
So again, Kristen will have a chance to check in the Pirates, our final conversation of the day. All right, let's go ahead and check in one final time tonight with Kristen and the Pirates.
I'm standing with the winning 200 medley relay team. Gustavo, you were able to get this team back in the hunt. You guys were right there edging, and you were in second place when you went into the water. What did you do to make the difference?
No, I tried to do my best to help the team. I tried to use all my underwater and to help the best team, yeah.
Conference championships, it's a really big meet. Everything's on the line. You guys know what it feels like to win this meet, okay? You're looking for another one. You're looking to repeat. What's it like coming into this meet with a big target on your back?
It's a lot of pressure, but we know if we come together as a team, we can definitely win another championship.
Congratulations, you guys performed outstanding. Good luck the rest of the meet. Lincoln Riley, back to you.
That will keep them back in the hunt, as that will do it for night number 1 here in Dallas. On behalf of our entire American Digital Network crew, for Chris and Keith, I'm Lincoln Rose. Championships, 6 of them handed out today, 3 to the men, 3 to the women, and we've got another full day of championships tomorrow. Those Houston Cougars looking to repeat their success from a year ago. Dallas looking to defend here in SMU, the Mustangs, their home pool. So many other stories. Those Bearcat men are right now in the driver's seat in points heading into tomorrow. And of course, the men will move up to 3 meters. The women will be on the 1 meter boards. So again, on behalf of our entire ADN crew, hope you had a wonderful time with us. Day 1 of 4 already in the books here with the American. Hope you have a chance to enjoy the rest of your Valentine's Day, everyone.